Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and today I want to start my solo playthrough of Blackbeard, the golden age of piracy. So here I already prepared the game board for the solitaire version of the game. I know it's a pretty bold move, me playing a kind of a war game, and I also have to confess that the rules are ambiguous at best. I went through them several times. I went through dozens of forum threads, responses here and there. I read the living rules, some additional rule suggestions that came by one of the designers and are being shared on the Geek, but they never actually have been included to, let's say, the official rules, but I play them anyway that way. And yeah, I'm still not 100% sure if I will play this game right. So I think I will do some stuff where you will scream in front of your screens, "Hey Marcus, what are you doing there? That's totally wrong." And yeah, unfortunately, little spoiler here, expect that a lot. I'm totally willing to accept your, I don't know, suggestion how to play it right, but not sure if I can take it back because it's a relatively complex game. It will take some time, I'm also sure of that. And yeah, let's just wait and see, I guess. I'm totally pumped to play this. I already played it once or twice. I think one test run and one full run basically, using the solo rules. So I think overall I should have covered it more or less. And thanks to a lot of folks out there, whatever, assembling player overviews and condensed rules, you name it. Thanks so much for doing this. Pretty long intro for me, I have to confess, but in this solo game you are playing Edward Teach Blackbeard. That's the only option. I think there are also some discussions on the Geek that you should be able to play it with one of the other pirates. I think overall there are 27 or so available, so a lot of stuff. But I think in respect to playing solo, he's the best guy, to be honest, out there. He has best stats whatsoever, so I think I will totally play it that way. As the, let's say, real pirate player, you play against the so-called system player. So in theory it's only a two-player game, but the second player, so the system player, controls 3 pirates. There are definitely some deviations for the rules, so normally you're only allowed to play one anti-pirate action, but in this case you can play one anti-pirate action against each of his pirates. Whatnot, you will never draw a new pirate, so whenever Edward Teach is out, you are losing the game right away. On the other hand, if the system player loses a pirate, he's allowed to, let's say, redeploy a new pirate. And in the end, you want to have more victory points than the so-called system player. We both start at 0 victory points. I'm player A, system player would be player B, because we will always go first in any given round. And the game can end in various ways. First of all, we will end the game when Blackbeard successfully retires with at least 130 victory points. We also end the game if Blackbeard is killed. The instant the SP has acquired at least 100 victory points from all his pirates combined. The instant all system player pirates are eliminated and no more are available in the pirate deck. Don't expect that to happen that often, to be honest. Or the general pardon card is drawn from the hold in deck, and yeah, then for the 3rd time pretty much. Yeah, this is how the game will end. Then you would tally up your score, and whoever has more victory points than the other player will apparently win this game. To be honest, I don't think that will be me, so it's a relatively challenging game. It all comes down to how lucky the system player is in drawing those anti-pirate event cards and whatnot, how my dice rolls apparently are, and for some of you who have watched my former playthroughs know how poor I roll. But yeah, let's see. The first pirate of the system player is Benjamin Hornigold, and yeah, he seems to be kind of a nice guy, which is definitely shown here with a low cruelty value. I will not go into the backstories of those pirates. If you're interested, they're all in the rules, and you can find the rules at the GMT's website, especially the living rules. He will start the game with a sloop. He may be able to upgrade, and this is something that's being determined at random when you deploy a new pirate. As a system player, basically, then you would roll a die on 1 to 4, it's a sloop, and on 5 to 6 it would be a schooner in this case. So we would basically set the starting values. So the sloop is pretty fast, so it has a speed of 5 here, but only a combat rating of 5-2, which is not that great, to be honest. Then we have a cunning, which is pretty much a reroll. We all start with our cruel loyalty here at 7. And yeah, that's pretty much his player board. He will start his journeys here at the Gold Coast. This is also something that you determine at random. The second pirate is Bartholomew Roberts. He seems to be more cruel than Benjamin Hornigold with a cruelty of 3. Let's call him Bart for now, but I think he will make me walk the plank for that. He's the only pirate of the system player who starts the game with a schooner, so in theory he has a lower speed, so the blue column here counts, so a speed of 3 and a combat rating of 6, but a cunning value of 4, which is pretty good. Keep in mind that's pretty much a reroll. And last but not least, we have Henry Avery, who also starts the game with a sloop and also a cunning value of 4. Both of them, so Bart and Henry Avery, will start their journeys on, let's say, different part of the world. So Bartholomew Roberts will start in East Africa, whereas Henry Avery will start his journey in India. I think I will explain all the rules as I go, because otherwise could be a pretty overwhelming experience for you. And so I think let's just get started. I prepared myself by listening to a lot of Ailstorm and Running Wild songs, so I'm really totally pumped to play this game. And keep in mind, Blackbeard, so basically us, will always go first in this game. So what you do at the start of the round is to draw 4 event cards. Here's already a little deviation to the multiplayer version of the game. This pile only, let's say, contains hold until play cards. There's also a different category of event cards, and that says play immediately, but only the system player will ever draw from this deck and will also, of course, play those cards. So I will now draw 4 of those cards. So this will be basically the hand for the upcoming round. And that's actually not a bad hand, to be honest. So those 3 cards are all anti-pirate cards, so I cannot play them in my turn in order to go for the event. But this one here is definitely a card which I could play. And I'm really tempted to do that right away, because those heavy guns give me a +2 modifier to my craft's combat roll, and this is really huge. Of course, I have to play that, let's say, while in port. Right now, I'm down here in Central America sea area, and I'm outside of the port. So in theory, I could now spend my first action to move into the port, and then with my next action, I could then do this, heavy guns card. But right now I don't feel like it, to be honest. So I think I want to play this double cross card here. Keep in mind, you can play those cards either for the actions that are printed here, and this is a specific sign. It shows your initiative rating, and in Blackbeard case that's 3. 3 is pretty high, so when I would play this card for the actions, I would be allowed to take 3 actions with Blackbeard, which is definitely cool. Normally you see a number here, and this pretty much tells you this card provides you 2 action points if you would play it. The or section is for the event, so you can play this card either for the actions or for the event. But of course, in this case, this is an anti-pirate card, so I can only play this outside of my player turn. So I think in this case, I will play this double cross. So this gives me now, I will play it for this option here. This will give me 3 actions. This card gets discarded. And now I basically have 3 actions. I will use this die to keep that in mind. As I'm already in a sea zone that contains 2 merchant ships, which is good, and this is also part of the setup for the solo version of the game, you would place Blackbeard on the sea zone with the most merchant ships, so you get some kind of a head start, so you don't have to sail somewhere else, which is pretty cool. And in this case, I definitely want to take out a merchant, because merchants can get pretty sparse in this game at that point in time, because there are so many ports where they could appear that sometimes really can take a long time to get there. So in this case, I want to use my very first action to try to find one of those 2 merchants. Right now, I don't know what merchant ship they are, so yeah, it's basically Schrödinger's merchant deck in this case. So I would say I want to find this merchant here. The way how this works is I take my ability rating, which is a 4, I would roll a die, and if I would come to a, let's say, sum of 7 or higher, I would find this merchant. As I'm now announcing this action, he would be allowed to play an anti-pirate action. So I will now draw the top card of this event card deck here and see if it's an anti-pirate action. Normally you would declare those anti-pirate actions while you're doing this particular action or immediately after you do that. But some of the anti-pirate actions have a different timing than others. In this case, I want to do it right away, because if I would now see a, let's say, what's it called? I think a warship, right? I would basically stop my search for that and then would have to face that warship, for example, which is why I now play this card. This might be a totally wrong interpretation of the rules, but that's how I used to play it so far, and I think this does make sense. So I will play this card right away. And guess what? It is a warship that will appear. Sail ho, Captain. Play to place a warship on station as per rule 6.4. We would draw one of those warships without looking, and we would place it in the same sea zone here. Okay, so this is a pretty weak one, to be honest. So it has a speed of 3 and a combat rating of 7, and I think this is definitely something I can beat. The living rules suggest that you can increase that combat rating by 2, so it would be a combat rating of 9 in total, and I don't know, to be honest. I think I will play it that way, so using the suggestion, because I think there were some complaints originally that those warships and the King's Commissioners were too weak, which is why they came up with this rule. And yeah, why not follow their suggestions? I might go down badly, but yeah, I will do it anyway. So this warship has now a combat rating of 9. Still not a big deal, because our combat rating is a 6 plus our ability 4. So in total, we would have a 10, and we still would roll a die, of course, and the same would be true for the warship, and we could use our cunning to reroll one of those dice. So I now have to make the immediate decision if I want to fight the ship or fight the warship, or if I want to try to evade. I think in this case I want to destroy this warship, because it can give me 9 notoriety points, and if I retire successfully, this notoriety value which I gathered throughout the game is doubled in this case. So that's already 18 victory points if I would be able to defeat this warship. Still, I have to defeat it, but I think let's do that. So let's actually roll some dice. I will be the black die, the warship will be the white die, so it's pretty much 10 versus 9 in this case. So let's see what we get. Awesome! Wow! Successful roll, and that's by me. So great. So we were definitely able to defeat this warship here. This goes right back into the cup, and this gave me my first 9 notoriety points. Because I was fighting a warship, I will also will take 1 combat damage here, so I'm going down to only 5, but overall that's still good enough. And as I defeated the warship, I now must continue with my original plan to find this merchant ship. So I'm still looking for a 3 or more, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I have ability of 4. I need to get to a 7 overall. So let's see. Yeah, that's certainly good enough. I will keep this die, that's for sure. So now I'm allowed to flip this token, and in this case we are dealing with a schooner with a combat with a cargo rating of 2, which isn't that bad, to be honest. With my second action, I want to loot the ship. So I'm announcing a loot action, and again the system player would draw an event card. So what did we get here? Mutiny Conspiracy. Oh man, are you kidding me? That's really a bad card, that's for sure. Play against the active pirate. Guess who that is? Roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the crew loyalty level, a mutiny occurs. Okay, our current loyalty is at 7, so we have a relatively good chance not to face a mutiny, but still, let's roll those dice. And now I'm really hoping for low numbers here. Oh, that's a 9. Are you kidding me? Oh gosh. Okay, we are facing a mutiny. Hey guys, we just fended off this warship. We found this merchantman. What do you want from me? More rum? Okay, let's see how this goes. And now I have to roll against my leadership ability. If the roll is higher than this 3, the mutiny is pretty much successful. Good thing is in the solo rules, you cannot die. Because again, if Edward Teach Blackbeard dies, you're out of the game, and then we would have lost. It would be a pretty short exercise, that's for sure. So in this case, I will only lose some points here in this case, or some what's it called, loyalty points in this case. So let's see. So we are looking for 1, 2, 3. Let's take this white die here. This seems to roll lower results. And yeah, okay, the mutiny is successful. So in this case, I will lose 1, 2, 3 loyalty points. Again, keep in mind, I'm not out of the game in this one, but I'm really coming close to my next mutiny here. So I really have to do something about that. But still, this doesn't hold me from looting this ship in this case. So it has a cargo rating of 2. I would now roll a die and add that result to the 2, and then I would refer to a specific loot table. It's a war game after all, so we will see some tables, that's for sure. That's good, that's a 5 plus 2, it's 7. And as we are in Central America, we will take this column here. We go down to the 7. So overall, we managed to get 1,300 doubloons of booty. That's not bad at all, to be honest. So I will use my very first cargo hold, and the good thing is they already have the 0 printed here. As I'm running or sailing on a schooner, I have 3 cargo holds. The pirate with only a sloop only have those 2 cargo holds here, so overall I'm still okay. And if I would retire successfully and I would have, let's say, converted this booty into net worth, this would pretty much equal 13 victory points as well. But we are not done yet. We are still allowed to draw one of those hostages. And here we found the first mate. He does have an information of 2 and a value of 1. So what I can now do with him, I can torture him for information. Then I would get some information about the port he's coming from, in this case Honduras. That's not really great at all because it's a relatively low rating port. So I think I don't want to do that. So in this case, I want to keep him as a hostage to get the, let's say, ransom for him. And I can do that pretty much in any Spanish harbor. So let's grab this first mate here onto our hostage section here. You can have as many hostages as you want, but we have to flag him with the appropriate nationality flag. So this is now a first mate which we can ransom in at Spanish ports, which is definitely a good thing. I will keep that in mind. And last but not least, I think I want to convert my ship. In this case, it's also a schooner. And this also means that my ship is now again fully repaired. Isn't that nice? And because this was a cargo rating of 2, we also get 2 additional notoriety points. We are just below the notoriety threshold of 12, because with 12 they will start to send King's Commissioners after, though at least they will try to do that. With 11, that's still okay. 12 is the magic number in this case. Okay, now this warship goes back to the, let's say, cup. I have them face down here on the game board. I still have one more action left. Keep in mind, I was searching, I was surprised by a warship, then I was looting, and I had 3 actions in total. And I think with my final action, I will now try to find this merchant ship here. I cannot loot it this turn, but I can still prepare for the next round. So again, the system player will draw an anti-pirate card or potentially anti-pirate card. And here we have debauchery and revelry. Play against any pirate in port. Currently we aren't in port, so we can simply discard this card. So I am now allowed to find this merchant. We already know that drill, so let's talk about a dice tower with this little pirate flag. So now it's really a fitting one. Awesome. We are looking for a 7 in total, so I will add up my ability rating. Oh, and this is not good enough. 2 plus 4 is 6. I could now decide to spend a cunning point, but I think I will not do them because you will not get them back until the end of the game. So I think I will now call it a round and will hand it over to Benjamin Hornigold. The first thing that he will do is to draw one of those must play immediately event cards. Keep in mind I separated the event card deck. Normally they're all shuffled together, but in this solo version of the game we have a separate deck for those whole play immediately cards. And here we see new governors. Welcome, my lord governor. Roll d66 twice and place new anti-pirate governors in the 2 corresponding ports where any existing governors are replaced. So let's do that. I think for now I will show that how it's done, but later on I think I will then do it off camera more or less. So the black die is the die for the 10, the first digit pretty much, and the white die is the one for the second digit. So in this case that's 66, but 66 is a pirate port, so we have to roll again in this case. Normally we would go to the next highest port, but I think with this card you would re-roll. That's 33, and 33 is Guadeloupe. Okay, that's it. I think that's fine. We don't have to do business there, to be honest. Let's roll for the second time. That's 16, and 16 corresponds with Charleston. Belmont, also an anti-pirate governor. Okay, that was the play immediately card. And then he will draw his normal hold until play event card, because this will tell us what this pirate is about to do. What do we have here? Heavy guns. Okay, that's one and the events. We have one action and the event. Upgrade those cannon. This is really great. We have those cards, this card on our hand as well, and I think I will use this card as of the next round, but I think he will also use this card. Yeah, absolutely. So he will play this card. He will sail in one of those harbors, apparently not in an anti-port harbor. So I think in this case he will go in a pro-pirate port here, Cormontin for example. So we place him here on this harbor spot. So this shows he's now in port. And then he will play his heavy guns card to get a +2 on his combat rating. So I will just place this 2 next to his combat score here, because this card is normally discarded. You certainly noticed that I haven't clipped my markers here. I have no clue how to do that, to be honest. So maybe I will do that afterwards, but for now you have to live with those ugly little corners there. Bear with me. But that was pretty much already the turn of Benjamin Hornigold. I would have been allowed to do an anti-pirate action against each of those pirates, but I think for now I don't really care. I have this warship sighting, but I think I want to keep this warship sighting when I have a pirate who's really about to cash in his booty, for example, so that he will really lose some victory points. So right now I will definitely keep this card. So let's hand it over to Bart here. He will draw his play immediately card. And here we see the natural disaster. Wow, already in the very first turn. Didn't to fright a monster's ear. Roll 1d6 on the table. So again, we see another table. That port is destroyed and all merchant ships on the map are replaced. Okay, let's roll the die and see what we get. That's a 3. And a 3 is the Ile de Tortuga. This card is now completely removed from the game, but any pirate, any hostage, any governor, any merchant ship there is basically removed there. So we just lost our very first pirate port. Pirate ports are great in order to trade in your booty into net worth and stuff like that. But yeah, apparently we can no longer do that at Isla de Tortuga. Okay, let's draw his normal event card, and that's Debauchery and Revelry. It's in theory again another anti-pirate card, but he will just play it for those 2 actions that's printed on this card. Okay, Bartholomew Roberts is here at East Africa, and I think he will totally go for that merchant there. So he will roll or do a find merchant action in this case. So here's my dice tower. He has an ability of 5, so I think he's definitely better than Edward Teach. I should have really started with this guy. Okay, let's see. Let's roll the dice. So we are looking at least for a 2, so not much can go wrong here. Yeah, he was able to find this merchant ship. This is also another schooner. He already has a schooner, but I think he's not damaged whatsoever. So he will spend his second action, so we will go down to 0 to loot the ship. Now I could really decide to spend my warship sighting, but I still don't feel like it. Let's see how well he does. So let's roll his booty die. He will add 2 to that result. This is pretty much the column we are looking for. That's 4 plus 2 is 6, and a 6 is 700 gold doubloons. Okay, overall that's not really that great, to be honest, but he will take it anyway. So in theory this could be 6 victory points for him. And now he's also allowed to draw a hostage. But because this hostage is from an Arab port, he will not be able to trade this hostage in for ransom. They simply don't pay any ransom for their hostages. And here he found a governor. Wow, he would be worth a real fortune. But again, they are not paying any ransom for him. So he will now torture him for information. So this means he will now roll a die. If he would now roll higher than his cruelty value of 3, so he's not that cruel as we are, yeah, he would give him his information. But anyway, the governor will die. That's for sure. Okay, so in this case, he definitely killed the governor, which is not that bad at all. So he will not get the information that's printed on this chit here. So basically the 1, but a 1 is not that great anyway. There are definitely way more informative people around there. But he's still allowed to raise his notoriety by the value of this governor. So in this case, 5 notoriety points. And because he just sacked a schooner, he gets 2 more notoriety points. So in total, that's 7 notoriety points. And we are not done yet, because his crew finds this rather enjoying, so his loyalty goes also up by 1 point. Okay, this was his second action, so that's pretty much the end of this round, or for his turn. So let's move over to Henry Avery. Let's draw his must play immediately event card. And here we have an interesting one. Storms at sea. That does not look good. Roll d66 and consult the port numbers on the map. The storm affects the port sea area and applicable both transit boxes. Okay, right now we don't have any pirates in transit boxes anyway, but still, let's roll the die again. First digit, the second digit. Let's see what we roll. So that's 33 again, which shouldn't be that bad, to be honest. But we still have to remove all merchant ships in that sea area. So here's 33 Guadeloupe, and that's the only merchant ship that's in there. So we just remove it from the board, and yeah, we have to spawn new merchant ships at the start of my next round. Because whenever you have less than 8 merchants on the board, and I think we have lost 3 now in this case. We had 10 at the start of the game, so we will definitely spawn 1 additional merchant at the start of the next round. Okay, this was the event card. Nothing else would happen here. Pirates would take damage and so on, but right now there aren't any pirates in the sea area. So let's draw his event card. Skull and Crossbones, 3 action points, or he could use the or effect here. Play at the cost of 1 cunning point, either to negate 1 card displayed against a pirate, or for a +2 versus a booty grab. So in this case, it doesn't really make sense to go for the or, so he will definitely take the 3 actions. Henry Avery is up here in India. India is definitely a good region, really rich, so he will definitely try to find that merchant. He has an ability of 3, so we are looking at least for a 4 in this case. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's unfortunately enough, so he was able to find the merchant here. Again, another schooner in this case. With his second action, he will definitely go for the loot action here. Now I'm really thinking of playing my warship sighting card now, because in India the value can go up to 3,000 bucks. That's 30 potential victory points for him if he would roll a 6. Keep in mind he's still adding 2 to that result, but the minimum is always, let's say, 500, but it's a 2. He will definitely get at least 1,200 bucks in this case. This is now a risk. This is now a risk, but I think no, I will play that warship sighting card now, because really I don't want to give him that many victory points there in India. So let's play this card. It just gets discarded. Let's draw a warship counter. I will not look. I will not look. Damn. That's let's say pretty weak one, to be honest. That's only a 6, plus 2, it's 8. Keep in mind I'm playing with the living rules. Recommendation, his ship has a combat rating of 5, he has an ability of 3. So that's pretty much 8 versus 8. I have to decide pretty much. I could, in theory, roll a die, but right now he's a fresh pirate, so what can he lose, to be honest? So I think, yeah, he will totally try to fend off that warship. So let's roll some dice again. Black is the pirate. It's 8 versus 8, and the pirate has to roll higher than the warship in this case. Okay, that's 6 versus 1. This would be pretty great. But of course, the pirate will use 1 cunning point in order to basically reduce the amount of damage. He cannot win. This is pretty great, to be honest, but still we want to re-roll. So let's see what he gets. We keep that 6. That's a 3. So he definitely lost that battle against the warship. Awesome. He now gets the damage of 3, pretty much the difference between the results. And this is always combat damage. So 1, 2, and 3. So if he goes down to sunk, then this pirate is out of the game. That's really, really amazing. And as he has lost the battle against the warship while conducting an action regarding or including a merchant, this merchant is now removed from the board. So it goes back to the cup, and this was my idea after all. Awesome. This went really, really well. He still has 1 more action, and I think with this he could either go into a port now to try to refit his ship in his next turn, but I think he really doesn't care. Again, he's a fresh pirate, so he has nothing to lose. So I think let's just move him out of here, because there are no other merchant ships right now, so into the East Africa zone here for now. I nearly forgot, he's also losing 1 loyalty point because he just lost that battle. The warship stays on station up there, so this can backfire. So if I ever go there, any other, let's say, or the system player could also use this warship now against me. But for now, I think I will not get there anytime soon. And yeah, this was an entire round of Blackbeard. I think I will stop here, because this gives you now the opportunity to make me aware of any major errors I've been making so far. So if something terribly went wrong, I can stop it here and restart all over with the rules clarified. But I really hope that's not the case. I really hope you enjoyed my little playthrough so far. Hope to see you soon in one of my other videos, maybe the next episode of my playthrough of Blackbeard here. And yeah, until then, bye bye.